Hi, my channel. Right, today I'm going to talk about people's finger sizes shrinking when it gets cold outside. As winter months arrive, it was really common working as a jeweller that customers would come in asking for their rings to be sized down. And we do it, we oblige, obviously. Everybody's different, people's finger sizes will shrink differently. But my first response when serving customers and they ask for their ring to be sized down because it's getting loose, is it's kind of not great for your ring. Some settings, this is not always the case, but some settings on a ring that's been worn for years, they're already, all the solder joints are already a bit stressed out just from work hardening, you know, you're holding things, picking up bags and stuff. Just your ring gets sort of stresses as metal, it gets harder and more brittle the more kind of pressure gets put on it and it gets bent around. Even if it doesn't go out of shape, it's getting kind of pushed about. So your solder joints might already be under stress, and you think like a ring, just basically the only way to size it down, if it's got stones set in it, we have to cut a piece out the back. We'll find the solder joint, if there is one, we'll cut through that. And then we have to just basically cut a piece out and then join it back up. So it's stress on the head, extra stress. So it's not great for the ring. Also doing that, we have to, after soldering up, we've got to file over the solder, paper it back, and then it's going to be polished. So it gets worn out, basically. We're taking like a surface layer off the metal. So your ring, it won't look any thinner, it won't weigh any different really, but it is taking a sliver of the surface away. So it's not ideal. So it wears your ring out and it puts extra stress on the settings on the head. So after explaining all that to customers, people would commonly ask me, is there an alternative? And there is, but again, it's not really advisable. I mean, if it solves a problem, then why not? But there's a thing, we used to call them ring clips. They may be called different things from different suppliers. They're basically like a very thin, flat bit of metal with little ends on, and those ends would wrap around the shank. So it just, say that's your ring, it just sort of goes across the bottom. It just fills up a bit of space, and it just pushes your ring, pushes against the bottom of your finger. They're a bit catchy, and they are temporary. It's certainly not a permanent fix to a ring size, but again, considering you just want your ring to be a bit tighter over winter, you don't want to be sizing it down permanently and then sizing it back up in summer when your finger gets hot again. So maybe it's not as bad an idea as I was thinking. But yeah, they're not great. They're cheap, nasty things, and they are a bit catchy. Ironically, you may make your ring tighter on your finger, but because you've got a catchy bit of metal stuck to it, when you pull a winter glove off, you might be more likely to rip your ring off your finger and then lose your ring. It might get lost in your glove or it might fly off, go down a drain or something. So not great, but I just wanted to highlight the fact from the perspective of a jeweler that if your ring is a bit loose, unless it's really loose and unwearable, maybe leave it alone. There's only a few months it's going to be really cold, or just perhaps don't wear it for a few days. Some people wear my wife's really bad for this, she'll just wear her rings all the time, and people's skin or sort of flesh sort of shrinks back from it. Like where rings pushing on it and rotating and stuff, just with general wear, it's like you get a little flat spot under where you wear your rings. That could be loose. So just taking your rings off, if you're like that, like my wife just wears them all the time, just don't wear them for a day or two. And then that will puff your finger back up as it returns to normal, get some blood back in it, and then putting them back on, it'll feel tighter. So just that alone might be a solution, just not wearing your rings all the time. Certainly don't sleep in them, and taking them off more often, like when you're washing up or having a shower or whatever. That might just be an answer to your solution. That's certainly better than actually cutting through it and actually wearing it out. Because if you've got hallmark and engraving inside, all that gets worn out as well. It has to be polished inside, same as the outside. So yeah, it's not great for a ring to size it. So I wanted to make this video just to highlight to people from the perspective of a jeweler that it's not always advisable, but I get it. If it's too loose and you want to wear it, you kind of got to do what you got to do.